You know, she obviously has a lineage that would keep her sort of in this power struggle given her family. So, I mean, what can you say about how she fits into the fight for the quarter this year?
I think right now she's trying to figure that out. I really want to see her be the person she always has been. You know, season 1 was a lot of her discovering mind-blowing things and having to deal with this new reality she finds herself in. And season 2, I'm excited to see her be more comfortable in her environment or just aware of her environment. And so you see, you know, the person she was all along, who's really strong and really morally grounded and a good person.
In all this learning and forgetting, has she at least remembered to stop having sex in front of enchanted dream catchers? Because I know that seems to not work out well for her.
Yeah, she, it's like, you know, it's like the original YouPorn channel for vampires. Isn't that little Wicker thing?
In case the Wi-Fi dies.
Sorry.
You know Danielle, you know, one of the really amazing things about the evolution of Davina last year was that she started someone I think a lot of people weren't sure where her loyalties lied and what she really wanted. She was on this incredible journey. She died, she came back, she was good, she was evil. She then resurrected. Michael, what is wrong with you? That is such a bad idea, but I'm really glad you did it. What excites you about this new, seemingly exponentially powerful version of Davina?
I think what's really cool, she's a lot stronger now. You know, she's grown up a lot in the past 3 months, and coming back into season 2, she's really kind of playing by her own rules now. She's not getting tossed around anymore, and she's not really taking it from everyone now. She's kind of, well, she's dishing it out, yeah.
I like it. But I mean, it's an interesting sort of conundrum she finds herself in, because if Klaus is her ultimate sort of victim, she has to contend with the fact that if she kills him, she would kill her bestie, and she would kill Marcel. I mean, which is a great move on Klaus's part, I feel.
No, I think the biggest part about it is that she's lost way too many people that she cares about, and I think now the biggest thing for her and her biggest strength is the people that she cares about and that she loves, but at the same time, it's her biggest weakness.
Absolutely. For the guys,
I just have to interrupt because we all started this morning doing an interview together. And nobody could, like, make a sentence. I mean, like, literally on camera, probably posted online right now, that a single one of us could formulate a clear thought. So I'm sitting here listening to everybody be brilliant, and I'm, like, super psyched.
We got warmed up.
We gave them a lot of confidence. For Joseph and Daniel, you know, by having Davina bring back your parents into this world, it obviously presents an interesting sort of twist in their feelings of family. You know, for a long time, that's all Klaus wanted, was just to have a family, and now that he's maybe has too much family. What can you say about that?
I think, you know, certainly bringing back Michael, it's going to force him to sort of face up to his relationship with his father, and then obviously how that translates into him becoming a father, and how much of the way he's dealt with becoming a father is due to how his father treated him, and how much of it is just his own fault, you know. But as an actor, it's exciting because I get to work with some lovely actors again, and as a show, you know, being a show that's based around family and called The Originals, it's exciting to have some originals.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also not just like, you know, the blind crusade for family. It's more articulate than that. It's about the definition of family.
Right.
And I think that, and what it means to Klaus and Elijah. And once they define that, they'll probably have their kingdom. Which, that's that.
Julie, for you and for Michael, talk a little bit about what it means to bring Esther and Michael back to the show, and sort of what that sets in motion for season 2.
Well, it kind of explodes season 2 in all the best ways. You know, when we decided to get rid of the other side on the Vampire Diaries, we knew that this was our shot, our only shot. And we talked about it a lot last year, sort of saying, is this a road that we are ready to go down? Because this is the only chance we're going to get to bring these characters back. And what was so fun about it is that it then defined really the course of the whole season of storytelling, because, you know, when your greatest enemy are the people that actually gave you life, And everything that you have to do to defeat them is to dig deep within yourself and find the power that they stole from you throughout your childhood, in whatever form. And that's a huge conflict, and it's kind of awesome. I hope. It seems so far.
Yeah, I think if you strip away everything, the problem with being a vampire is that your immortality and the fact that you think of people as food strips you of your connection to humanity, and you start to go a little bit mad. And what is interesting about the Michelson family is they have a built-in connection to their humanity in their connection to one another. And that's why they cling, for better or worse, to their family. And now, the very thing that they cling to, Elijah's connection to Klaus, Klaus's connection to Elijah, their love for this child, their love for Rebecca, their love for Haley, is now coming into jeopardy, and the antagonist is their mother, is the person that you should feel the most love from. And this person is coming back to judge them as abominations and saying that for 1,000 years you have reaped and you have sown, and now I am going to take that away from you. I'm going to have this agenda, which we will unpack over the course of the season. And in addition to that, Davina, who lost the love of her life because of Klaus's machinations, has brought back Michael and now has him on a leash, and he has this desperate agenda to get even with the bastard Klaus. So the people that should love you the most, your mom and your dad, want to destroy you. So if you're already mad and you're already crazy because of this horrible situation of being a vampire, and now you're completely losing your humanity because even the family that you have relied on is starting to attack you, things are going to start to implode. And that's what we're dealing with.
Michael Harper Narducci.
I was going to say, I love when the professor comes out. It's my favorite. I like that you guys have turned family into a 4-letter word with the originals. I think that's
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. But you know, you brought up the R word, Rebecca. I'm curious, I mean, obviously we saw Claire in the finale. She's open to coming back. Would you have any plans to have her back in season 2 at the start?
Well, I can say that the trailer that you guys all saw actually is footage from the first 3 episodes, and so there was her smiling little face, so we know we're going to see her at least once.
Does that mean, oh yeah, I clap it up, I love it. Does she come back with sort of like Hope in a Bjorn, or does she smartly not bring her back to New Orleans?
Well, the whole point is how do we keep, the secret that Hope is alive out of New Orleans while still trying to make New Orleans a home for Hope, which is now starting to sound like a Hallmark commercial. But we sit in the writer's room and we think, like, how could we get that moment that we're all dying to see, at least we're dying to see, I'm dying to see, where Haley and Klaus maybe get to hold their child again, and not be in a context where they're being stupid or putting, her in jeopardy. So I hope that we can find that this year.
One of the other faces we saw in the trailer, I think, was Daniel Sharman. I'm not sure if they like that choice. What can you sort of tease about who he plays in this world and which of these guys he ends up interacting with?
Well, he's Caleb. He's naughty, mysterious. What's this guy want, and why is he flirting with this little girl here?
Look at the smile on this girl's face.
What do you think about Daniel Sharman and Caleb? They're
I think he's a great actor.
Would you say he's kind of dreamy?
Would you?
I mean, if I were you, I'd say it. I'm waiting on you to say it.
Davina meets Caleb, and she's a bit smitten. And but she's also not really ready to trust people right now either. So he's gonna have a hard time.
I can understand why she'd be a little untrusting of just anyone at this point. I get it. Charles, what about Marcel? I mean, I feel like he, had, like I said, some Dreamcatcher loving, but beyond that, is there anything more?
Dreamcatcher loving? Is that what we're calling it now?
I mean, I'm not trademarking anything, I'm just saying. Yeah. That's how we watched it. What can you sort of say about what the future holds for him, whether it's with Cammy or another one of his many suitors?
There's definitely some romance, I think, carried over from season 1. Yeah, I see you're dreaming right now. Just daydreaming over there. So So yeah, I
In your best dreams. No, it's fine. You go ahead.
We'll get to you in a minute. See, look at that chemistry. Look at the chemistry we have.
Ripe with chemistry, us too.
Yeah, so there's still some of this there. And yeah, I think the door is also open for any additional shipping and romance. But I think Marcel has his hands full with trying to rebuild his vampire community, which has been whittled down to him and Josh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think they can do it, right?
Yeah. Was that sort of a surprise for you guys in the writer's room once you introduced this character and you're like, oh wait, we love him and the audience seems to be super into him too?
All right, I think most of the writers from our staff are actually in the audience, and I will now say in front of God and everybody that about 3 episodes deep, I was like, before we've seen any footage, I said, okay, good, it's time to start planning how we're gonna kill Josh, you know, like, supporting character, like, we gotta kill Josh. It's gonna be a great death. And all the writers in the room were like, if you kill Josh, you are the enemy of all things good. And I kept saying, well, that's the point. Like, I learned that from Kevin, the master, Williamson himself, is like, you kill the characters you like. That's what takes people by surprise. So every now and then I'd be like, okay, so in this episode, and they'd say, oh, we're in this battle, and I say, and then Josh dies! And they would all go, no! Anyway, and then I started watching Josh, and I'm like, oh, I really like him, he's good. And I should kill him because I like him so much, but
Great guy.
but he's, you know, he's Josh. You can't quite give that guy the boot.
I like that. Any chance, I mean, if we're talking about love, is there any chance of love for Josh this season?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. There's a chance for love for anybody, but there's definitely a chance for love for Josh. I mean, if we're gonna keep him around, he is one of Marcel's guys, one of Marcel's last guys. What is it like to be a vampire in werewolf-occupied New Orleans? He's going to be fighting for his life and trying to survive, and in that circumstance, that's the last thing you're looking for, and the first thing you wind up finding, which is, you know, a romantic interest. So that's definitely something we want to do.
So if single people want to find love, go to
I was like,
New Orleans and almost die. Got it. Okay. Okay. Well, you know, one of the other things I'm curious about that you guys did really amazing last year with Tyler was the Vampire Diaries Originals crossover. And the head of the CW said, when it's appropriate, we'll do that. For you guys, how do you define when it's appropriate to have something like that happen?
It's 2 very different sets of rules. The first is creative, and the second is logistics. Creatively, it's just got to feel like it exists only and solely in the universe of the originals. Like, it fits like a glove so perfectly that the story could not be told without that element. And we have, you know, a great pitch on the table right now that if we, you know, if we're successful in playing the B side of it together, which is logistics, you know, maybe we will have some kind of crossover opportunity this season. The logistical side of it, of course, is a freaking nightmare because you're talking about somebody who's on another show, trying to get their schedules to coordinate with your schedule in a city where it rains, you know, and you're moving from set to set, and then, you know, or things happen and you burn sets down, and then you have to, you know, shift your schedule around and stuff like that. So anything can mess up the perfect crossover opportunity. So we just kind of keep our fingers crossed and see.
I mean, with you guys working such long hours on such dramatic material, what is sort of the key to keeping it light on set? I mean, are there prank people? Do you just all sort of, oh, everybody just looked at Daniel.
I think this is an appropriate time to share with you how Daniel Gillies dented my car. We started a series of pranks on each other. Just little things like he would put a traffic cone in my parking spot. He parked it across my parking spot, so while he was getting in the makeup trailer, I took his keys and drove his car around to the back of the studio and hid it there, and little things like that. I made a little figure of myself holding a sign saying, holding a sign with his face on it saying, carrying Daniel Gillies since 2011. And then he decided one day to, like, it would be really funny to park really close to my truck so that I couldn't get in the door. And then obviously kind of...
So close, in fact.
Scraped up against the side of it and had to come in all sort of shameful and embarrassed.
$600 close.
$600 delivered by PayPal. Yeah. So, you know, that'd be a lesson to all of you. There's a time and place for pranks, not on the set of the originals.
Got it. So we're not talking like running up with a toilet. It's just like vehicular damage and just like serious money exchanging. Got it. Like, that's what we do. All right, well, I would love to open this up to fan questions now so you guys can chat with the cast. I believe there's just a mic there, and let's line up in an orderly fashion, and everything will be incredible.
Hey guys, just quickly before we do, if you wouldn't mind, could you join with me in a chorus of Happy Birthday for Paul Wesley, who is here?
Yes.
I'm going to lead it, and here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Sexy Wesley.
Happy birthday, dear Paul. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Paul. Daniel Gillies, I love you.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation. And we have our first question.
Hi. So my question's for Michael and Julie. I really love the music that's included with all the episodes every week, and I was wondering how you go through the process of choosing the music, and do you like approve it personally, or do you have a team that does it?
I personally play. No, we actually have, and this was true in the Vampire Diaries as well, this team of editors that are so extraordinarily dialed into their musical voice and the musical voice of the show. In a way, they created that voice for us, and we just got to say, oh, thank God for you guys. It's a team, our co-executive producer, Lance Anderson, who has been with the Vampire Diaries since episode 2, has, like, he's the guy that puts in the Bon Iver and, you know, and the great tracks and finds the great music, and then when you add to that New Orleans jazz and the footprint, the musical signature of the city, it's just this like potpourri. Potpourri.
Let's go with potpourri.
Yeah.
Sure.
This cornucopia, some whatever of
potpourri.
options. And then of course Mike Subi, the composer, is so dialed into the universe as well because he did the Vampire Diaries. So music, beautifully, is the least difficult part of Mike's and my job because the people who handle it, along with music supervisor Chris Miller, are so good at it.
Yeah, Chris Miller deserves a huge shout out for finding all this stuff. And you can follow him on Twitter because he posts every song in every episode on Vampire Diaries and the original, so you can go and download it. And there's such great songs. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I want to just say this. In episode 21,
Stop!
The Battle of New Orleans, when Elijah walks out into the middle of the compound surrounded by an army of vampires, and he meets his brother, and then Klaus goes off to fight Marcel, and Daniel has this beautiful moment where he says, "Gentlemen, shall we?" You know, it's so great. That was originally set to a song that we didn't get the rights to.
Oh yeah, Lance.
Can I say what that song was? Because it's so awesome.
You can.
They did not give us the rights, but it was Blunderbuss by Jack White. It's so good, and you should listen to that song again and again. But that's it. That's awesome.
It just became my worst song in the world. Oh no.
I mean, in this discussion of your incredible behind-the-scenes team, it should also be noted that you guys got an Emmy nomination this year for your incredible. Very exciting for all of the little rocks you see up here and
it's funny,
the many wigged moments.
That episode that Colleen submitted for the team was, it's very subtle, but in the very first 2 minutes of the episode, there's a little flash to like all the roles Celeste has played over the decades, and so in one little 10-second moment, she had to do like 7 eras of hairstylists. Not to mention that it was a flashback episode as well. So I think well deserved, and we're super proud.
That's awesome.